What's up, guys? Jason Geiman here, and tonight we're going to answer your questions. You may have questions. If you don't have questions, I've got a lot of questions that I get asked in the group all the time, and we will start working our way through these questions about Christmas lights. So if you've got marketing questions, if you've got questions about how to hang lights, if you've got any type of question, or maybe you're watching the replay, definitely put your questions down into the comments so that way we can get your questions answered for you. Remember, there is no dumb question. The only dumb question out there is the question you don't ask. So, with that, this week I have been working on getting this shop ready. Today, I went through a bunch of my slides for this weekend and updated them. It's been a while since I updated them, and I'm excited for this weekend. We got 20 people going to be here in the shop. We got all the new gutters and the house and everything set up and ready to go. And so that is what we are going to do. With that, there was some sad news today. Seen Charlie Kirk. I don't know if some of you like him or not, but I always liked him, and it was sad to see him get shot today. But with that, let's get this rolled. That's what I've done this week. It's been a good week. I've had a lot of people starting to order lights, and it's neat to see people are closing jobs. People are closing $5,000 jobs, $1,000 jobs, $10,000 jobs, and it's awesome to see that September 10th, we are closing these big jobs. And so this here is a really cool thing to see. I'm excited to, see what this year is for Christmas lights. I believe it's going to be an amazing year for Christmas lights. I really do. I think it's going to be I think it may be one of the best years we've had. And so it's going to be awesome to see Christmas lights and see people starting their business, seeing people grow their business, seeing people get to the next level. And this is something that I am excited for. So, again, we are going to talk about your questions. I've got some questions here. I've got a whole list of questions here. If nobody asks any questions, I'd much rather have your questions, but I have my questions. And here's the great thing talking about questions. This is my book of the week again. I know I pushed this book pretty hard, but there's a reason why I want you to grow your business. I want you to be successful. And this book here, it will help you do that. And it's called Endless Customers. It's They Ask You Answer 3.0. The first book of They Ask You Answer. Now it's called Endless Customers. It is an amazing book. I highly recommend this book. It is a book that is definitely going to help you grow your business in 2025. There's a lot of things that are changing in the world of search engine optimization, otherwise known a lot of time as SEO. And so these are things that can help you grow your business in 2025. And so that is important as we look at ways that we have to get customers. Things change, right? Things change. AI is changing things. Texas law is changing things. Lots of things change. And so, with that, there's change that happens. And so, if you've been getting your customers, and I've always done this, it changes from year to year. And a lot of times it don't change a lot, but I feel like this year and next year, you're going to see even more changes because once Google and some of these other search engines go to the whole 100% AI, it is going to change. And you might say Google will never do that. Google is already doing it as we speak. You can click a button right now, and it is something that is what you can do. So, with that, what's your questions for this weekend? What has your goal been this weekend? What have you done this weekend to work on the business instead of in the business. And I know a lot of times we're trying to pressure wash, we're trying to do landscaping, we're trying to do lawn care, and we're not 100% focused on Christmas lights just yet. But and here's the thing that I also know, right, is a lot of you in your Christmas light business or your pressure washing business and some of your other businesses have been very well picking up and taking success also as we speak. And so these are some pretty cool things that are happening in 2025 that didn't necessarily happen last year. I know a lot of people were slow this time of year last year. Christmas lights were slow. People wasn't buying as much Christmas lights as they was this year as they was last year. So that's a good thing that people are starting to buy more now already before we're even in the peak of the season. So I'll answer that question, right? While if you have a question, please write it in the comments so that way I can answer your question. But when is peak season? If this is your first year starting a Christmas lights, if this is, you don't know when peak season is, I will tell you. So you will see people now showing these big jobs that they're closing these big jobs, but you haven't done what they have done, right? You don't have 50 Google reviews. You don't have 100 pictures in your Google business profile. You don't know how Google ads work. You don't know how Google or Facebook ads work. You don't understand which pictures work for Facebook. And so they have time, right? The guy that started last year, the year before, they got 2-3 years in, and they understand different things. If this is your first year, don't get discouraged. It's only September and even October. You new guys that if you're starting out new, you might have to be till November 1. But it's not to say that it would be neat November 1. I'm just saying a lot of times if we don't know how to do marketing, if we don't know how to close jobs, these are all things that come into helping you close more jobs. And a lot of it is back to how do we get more leads? Some of you are like, well, I'll just lower my prices. And that's a good way to go out of business instead of running a business. And so it's important that we are being profitable in our business. There's a lot of cost that goes into a Christmas light business. There's a ton of cost that you don't even might not know or see. And so these are things that we have to look at and pay, and there goes our profit out the door when we're paying those things that we didn't see those things. We didn't see the jobber that came out that's $400. We didn't see the gas bill that's $200 a week, $800 a month. We didn't see these things coming. We only seen that, well, Jason, the product's only $1.50, $2 a foot, or $1.50 a foot. Well, what about the zip cord? What about all the females? What about all these other things that go on top of what it actually cost you to run a successful Christmas light business? And these are all important that you understand these things and that you can think about these things so that way you can grow your Christmas light business. So the first here, Tech Ted, hey bro, do you like more incandescent or LED Christmas lights? And do you like to color by yourself or pre-colored? Like to color by yourself or pre-colored? I have no idea, but I will say there is no way in Hades am I putting up incandescent lights. One, it is not safe. I see people do a lot of stupid stuff with incandescent lights. One, incandescent lights like this barn right here, that would take like 3 circuits to just do that one barn. Because on incandescent lights, I can only install 130 feet per outlet. It's like 120 to 130 feet per outlet, per circuit, not outlet, per circuit. Because if the circuit is on that same, if 3 or 4 outlets are all on that same circuit, I can't keep adding to it. And so with that, it is something that I would only do LEDs. There's no way I would do incandescent lights. I know some people have done it because it's cheaper, and yes, it is cheaper. I can get you cheap LED or incandescent bulbs. I know where about 2 or 3 million of them are, and so I can get them for you. You can get them off my website, christmaslights.io. But I would not suggest to do that. I would suggest doing LEDs. Do you like color or so most people will want warm white. I would say probably 80 to 90% of your customers are going to want warm white lights is what that is going to be. Can you hint on what Daniel is doing to get success on Facebook ads? Yeah, he's running about 4 to 5 ads, and one of them is doing really well. And if you came to the Monday Night Marketing this past Monday, he actually kind of gave some tips and tricks on it. So if you did not make it, which I know you didn't make it, you signed up late and didn't get there, that training is still in there underneath there. So on my Monday night Zoom calls, that Zoom call will be under there, and that he shows his ad, he shows what he's doing, he shows his best performing ad that kind of breaks all the rules, but it does very well for him for his Facebook ads. And yes, I did get a haircut, got a clean shaven. I don't know what's going on up here. Every time he does it, it keeps getting further back. I tell him to quit that, but I don't know. Hopefully it'll stop someday. Just won a 5-year, $1.5 million Miami airport contract and Fort Lauderdale project. Need a financing company for upfront cost. Any referrals? Ooh. I'm going to be completely honest. I don't know. I don't have no referrals. And that's one of the things that, when we talk about these big jobs and, even when we get commercial, I know a lot of people are like, I want to go get these commercial jobs. Do you have the money to front not even a 1.25 million? Do you have enough money that you could come up with a $100,000 tower tree or something along those lines, right? And so these are things that you have to start thinking about when you are looking at commercial jobs. And I'm not talking about the commercial jobs with just lights and, trees and minis. I'm talking about commercial jobs that are ones with either a lot of labor that you're having to put up front, or if they have a lot of large decorations. Again, these tower trees are anywhere from 50 to 100,000 plus. Do you have the money to be able to sit on that while you put it up and wait 60 days to get paid? Wait 30 days to get paid. And so these are things that you have to put into consideration and into your price of, do I need to go borrow money, and how much is that money going to cost me so that when I'm borrowing that money? And so that's a cost that most people don't think about and don't consider that, hey, I've got to go find somebody to give me $100,000 that they might want 10, 15% interest on it because it's going to be very quickly. Once I get it, I'm going to pay it back. And that's something that you have to consider when you are thinking about going after these large commercial bids. And Some of them you may be able to get some money up front, but a lot of them you're footing that bill. And that is where you become an asset company. When you start buying these assets and you start having these assets, then it's not so bad because you already have the asset. Hey, Jason, what's a good percentage to pay installers for installs and takedown? So I have some people that have done 10%. I have had people do 15%. The guy that did 15% didn't do it more than 1 year, so I'm assuming he didn't like the way that ended up. I know a lot of people will do piece rate, and I personally kind of like the piece rate. I think that one, it can motivate people to be able to do it faster, and the piece rate works maybe that you get 80 cents to a dollar per foot of lights put up, and they split that between the two main crew. And if the roof guy is the main guy and the other guy is the helper, that's up to him how they want to split it. But that is one way to think about doing this, because if you have a good installer, there's no reason that you can't put up 800 to 1,000 feet. Let's just say the job is an average 200 feet. I know that's a little bit long, but maybe not in your area. And they can put up 5 houses. That's 1,000 feet. That's $1,000 that they're going to split. That's $600 for the main guy and $400 for the other guy. That is really good money if they work. Now, if they don't work and they only work and do 200 feet, or 400 feet, then obviously, and they work all day, and because they're slow, then maybe that's not the best for them. Or I had guys that would get done really fast, and then I had guys that wasn't so fast. And so it's kind of a give and take. And it's one of those things that as you keep growing and as you do it, for takedown, you can do 20 cents, 25 cents for takedown, because a lot of times it doesn't take very long to take down. Basically, 10, 15 minutes, if you don't do ridges, you can pull them down very quickly. And that's a way that you can do that very, very quickly. What's the most efficient way to track inventory? This here was my struggle point, because we did not track it very well. First off, I am not like a number guy, and I say that with my whole heart of my honesty. Like, that is not my personality. I have very little or zero type C personality in my blood, right? I'm a high I, like I am off the chart I. And then it's D right underneath that. My C is my wife. Like, she's complete opposite. She's 100% type C personality. And so with that, and it's not an excuse, but it's also really, it can be, in the past, it can be very hard for me to figure out the numbers and the cost and the tracking. And so the way I overcame it was, is I figured out how many houses we had to do, and I times it by 200 feet. Now, I knew our average footage was like 170 or 175 feet. And the reason why I just did it at 200 is I just kind of did it that way, so I knew how much I got to keep ordering. Because tracking inventory, as fast as it's coming in, it's going right back out the door. We had four crews working, putting up about 3,000 to 3,500 feet of lights every day. So you think about that, that's a roll, that's 4 rolls going out the door every day. And it'd be like, I just ordered 10,000 feet. Where did it all go? And it's like, well, there it went, there it went, and there it went. And so tracking inventory can be tough. Now, with that also said, the one good thing about these lights and this stuff is when you are having them to do it per foot and they go back and count because that's how they get paid. And so when they count, that's how they get paid. And so that's one way of tracking how much inventory is going out, that you could put that into a spreadsheet, and that way you would know how much inventory is out. Now, you may not have the inventory that's sitting on your shelf, but that's kind of where it is. And I am not saying the way I'm doing it is the best way of doing it, because there has been times that we are walking around the shop looking for clips and picking up any clip I can find so that I can go do a job because we had ran out of clips. So that's how that works. I am also looking for installers to come down to Miami to help out with this install of 180 Royal planes at the MIA September 19th and 20th training in October. I will have housing for them and cover. Well, at least you'll know how to do trees good. Let's see here, Brian. Personally, I never put the money in the hands of the team to decide how to split it. It will create animosity in a short period of time. The problem of it is most of the time you're going to have one leader and you're not going to have two strong people. Now, there is times that we actually paid per hour back in the day, and we had crews that could put up, you know, a crap ton. They could put up their 1,000 feet of lights, and then we had crews that could put up 500 feet of lights in a day, and they would work twice as long as the guy that could put up 1,000 feet of lights. And so it is definitely something that you got to look at. You know, you can let them decide how they want to split it. All kinds of good things that you can do with that. How effective are door hangers? Do you recommend them? Is there a most efficient way to get them out? So I do know someone that did put out door hangers last year and did pretty well with them. With door hangers, they're kind of like EDDM, every door direct mail, is that when you are putting out your door hangers, don't just do one subdivision one time. It's about doing that subdivision every 3 weeks, that you come back and you put another door hanger up on that door. And that's how you're going to get better at doing it. So it is definitely important to think about as you are putting them up so that you can do that. I would also say that one way that you can put them up efficiently is get them a little scooter or something like that so they can go from one door to the next really fast and able to put them up. I do know people that have door knocked and have had very good luck with door knocking, even more luck so than with door hangers. I can't tell you someone that I know that has made $100,000 by putting out door hangers. I can tell you several people have made $100,000 door knocking. I can tell you several that have made $100,000 off of Facebook ads. I know several people that have made $100,000 off of yard signs. I know people that have made hundreds of thousands of dollars off of Google, right? And so those are ways I can tell you. I can't tell you someone I know that has made $100,000 off of just doing door hangers. I do all the services you did plus building decks and fences. Did you find it hard or slow to train all the tasks that you offered? And the answer is yes, especially when you get around those stupid decks, because there's a lot to decks that it's kind of one that you kind of got to be, you kind of have to have that knack to do the decks. And so what I kind of started doing is putting them in different groups. Like you figure out who's good at what and you let them go do that. And so, you know, if they're a great pressure washer, well, they can go pressure wash the deck, but they're not going to be there to stain the deck, to paint the deck, and have that issue later on, because sometimes they're very meticulous in what they do and they can be a great house washer, a great pressure washer, but there was very few people that I trusted doing paver sealers. I had one crew out of my 4 crews that I trusted, that I knew that the paver sealers, I wasn't going to get a call back if this crew went. If the other 3 crews went, it was a 50-50 shot whether I was going to get a callback or not. And so you kind of start learning those and know who is good at what, to that way you can not screw yourself in the end. More repeat light customers coming in. Yes, definitely. I know a lot of people have already closed a couple $100,000. Again, if this is your first year, it's their 3rd year. So if you want to be at where they are at their 3rd year, you also have to do what they did in their 1st year. And this is where a lot of people think, well, I should be getting all these leads like all these other people are. But again, if it's your 1st year, you got to do what they did their 1st year. And they did all of the stuff. There's not no easy button in Christmas lights. Right? There is no easy button in Christmas lights. In fact, it doesn't matter if you're just starting out or you've been in it for 5 years. In fact, I would say it's probably more stressful when it's been in business for 5 years, because then you got more phone calls, you got more material going out, you're dealing with employees, you're having to fire employees, you're having to hire employees, you're having to train employees. And so it's important that we look at it and see, how do we get these people in and do it? Stretch lights gets palm trees done fast. I don't know, I ain't got no palm tree. I pay per day for the completion bonus. If they don't get their workload done, no bonus. Tips are split evenly. And again, if you all have questions, definitely ask your questions. I had real bad luck with my yard signs because the city does not allow it. Yeah, that stinks. There is some cities that don't allow. Thanks, Jason. Any tips on what to pay an operational manager? Well, it depends. Is this person 100% sitting in an office and not doing anything? Is this person installing, but he's over everybody else? Because if that's the case, you can kind of do it the same way. Of if that is the case and he's okay with it, there's a couple ways. One, you're going to have to pay so much for it. Or the best way to do it is that, or another, I shouldn't say the best way to do it. Another great way to do this is if he is making sure they got all their materials, he's doing everything for operations, he may get a percentage of every guy's job that's going out there. But if there is an issue, it goes straight to him and he has to deal with it, not you going to that crew, he's dealing with it. So if he has to either tell that crew to go out or he has to make sure that it is getting done. And so that's some ways that you could pay per hour. And then, hey, you get, 10 cents per each cruise money that goes out. And yes, it's going to cost you. You know, one of the hardest places in business is this, right? You can do 0 to $400,000 to $500,000 with you and one helper, maybe two helpers. You can do up to $400,000 or $500,000 in Christmas lights. Now, if you're not charging enough and you are cheap and you don't listen to me and you listen to some of these other gurus out here that say $6 is enough, and then you charge $5, and by the time you get done, you didn't charge enough for the lights on the house and you're down to $4, then it's really hard to start hiring people, especially when I'm telling you it's $2 for the bulb and all that, plus $1 for that. It only leaves you $1, right? And you're not going to make a whole lot of money with $1 because I haven't talked about your gas and all the other things. So you're not even going to make that. And so this is why it is really important that I teach you to go charge at the $8 to $12 a foot, because that extra $2 or $3 is pure profit that allows you to put money back into your business, right? And so you can pay employees, you can pay employees well, you can pay for marketing to get more leads, you can pay for an office manager. But here's the thing, right? As we start growing and we get from that about 500,000 to about a $1.2 million business, it gets really tough. I would even say 700,000, because you can run up to about 700,000 and keep it all pretty much under you and not have to spread it out too much. But once you get past that, then we got to start hiring people to put on the trucks and hiring people to manage those people. And that's why that area, that 750 to 1.2 million, gets a little bit difficult when we're dealing with our Christmas light business. Here's the thing, right? You know, Daniel did almost 550, $600,000 with basically two crews and him. So there was two, four, like five people, right? I know people that, yeah, they do $1 million and they're doing it with 20 or 30 people. And so at that point, the profit is not there at the end of the day. They got more money going out in payroll taxes and all the other crap that either they're not paying their employees very well, or their money is going right out the door. And so that's something that you got to think about. And that's also why we charge the $8 to $12 a foot, so we can be profitable, so we can run a business and not a job. A lot of people love running jobs and not businesses. And so I don't want you to run a business or a job. I want you to run a business that is successful, and I want you to be able to be successful. And that's why I teach you premium pricing at the end of the day. A lot of these other guys, they tell you $6 a foot. And here's the thing, you can go do it at $6 a foot. I love when you do it at $6 a foot. You're going to buy more lights from me. And they're doing the exact same thing. They know that if they tell you $6 a foot, they're going to sell more lights. They're going to make their money. But the problem of it is you are not going to make your money. And that's not how I fly, right? I want you to be successful. I want you to come back next year. I want you to grow this business so that you can have success. And I want you to grow this business so that you can take your family on vacations and do things that are really cool. And so that's why I want you to be successful. I could care less at the $6 a foot. Reason why I'm so passionate about the 8 to 12 is because you can get the $8 to $12 a foot. You just got to believe in yourself and change your mindset, so that way you will start thinking that way and believing that you are worth the $8 to $12 a foot. Again, if you have questions, put them in the comments. What are your thoughts on yard signs with the new laws in Texas? It'll be interesting to see how they are going to enforce it? That's would be my first thing. How are they going to enforce it? How are they going to enforce it is the law. And then two, it does say on private, or you can still put it up in private property. So when you go to the grocery store, that's technically private property. When you go to Starbucks and you put a sign by there, that's private property. So you may have to change your strategy a little bit, but it is definitely something that Texas is definitely making it harder. And it's not just yard signs. And this is the thing of it, right? Yard signs is only one piece of it. The other piece of it is did you know you cannot text your customers like discounts or anything along those lines, that they can actually sue you personally by sending those texts, and it gets pretty expensive pretty fast. Um, and the stupid thing is, you have to have a permit now to be able to send any promotional pieces for your Christmas lights or pressure washing business. And it costs like $1,000. So the people that are making out on this isn't the citizens of the Texas, it's the government of Texas of charging all of these more taxes, as you could say it is. Um, when I first started, I did door hangers as one of my marketing letters. But as soon as you can, I would switch to EDDM. Your time is worth more than bulk mail price, even after it went up this year. Yeah, if EDDM, if you don't know what EDDM is every direct door. And it is a way that you can look on the Postal Service website, and there's a tool on there, and it will tell you what the average household income is. It'll tell you how big the route is. So most postal routes are anywhere from about 400 to 700 mailboxes per route. And so it will also tell you like how many businesses are in there. And I don't remember if it'll tell you condos or not, but if there's condos, then that's everywhere you're sending it to all of them. So that's how you can do that. UZ marketing must not been greasing the local politicians' pockets. Too many people from California have moved to Texas. Yes, and if you haven't bought signs, you can go to moneybushes.com, and you can get yard signs from UZ Marketing, and they have probably one of the better deals. I just ordered 100 of them for someone the other day, and they are by far the cheapest that I have been able to find them. I actually used to have another guy here, but they were almost $125 more than the ones from UZ Marketing. So I don't know what that's all about, but it is about something. Keep yawning. So, what anybody else have any questions? Again, this is Q&A. This is time to get your questions out. I am excited for this weekend of this training. It's going to be amazing. There's going to be 20 some people in this building learning how to grow a Christmas light business. It's not just hands-on, it is very hands-on. I have a roof and gutters, and I got a goat, and I don't know if you can see it. Let's see if I can see it here. Let's see. I have the goat. I have the roof, the goat, the pit choppers. We got 2 roofs that you'll be able to put it on. We got some really cool stuff here that you would be able to climb up. We got a Christmas tree over in this corner. that you'll be able to light up. We have other trees outside that will be lighting up, so that way you get to know how to install lights on big trees, on posts, on pillars, on one our favorite good old gutter guards. I've got some gutter guards up there. They're the cheap gutter guards. And so it is definitely awesome, awesome, awesome of this weekend. I will also be having a class coming up here again in October. If you wasn't able to make this September one, October is not too late to start a Christmas light business. christmaslights.io/IPT for in-person training is where you can find me at. Is where you can find it at. So it is going to be a great class. Everyone will get a t-shirt this year or this class. And so that's a really cool thing that you will be able to get pictures while you're installing here. So that way you will be able to put in your social media. And that's very important if you want to grow your business, is to get pictures. And this way, as you're installing them here, you will be able to put on the christmaslights.io shirt, and that way it looks Christmassy, and you will be able to install lights here with the Christmas shirt on, with you getting pictures of it. So that way you can then put it in your Google business, on your social medias, on your Facebook, on TikTok, on all of those things, which is awesome. What are good extras to give away as gifts to stand out? And this is one that, usually it's more important. It ain't about the price of the gift. It's more important about the thought behind the gift. I've seen people do tumblers with candy canes. I've seen homemade cookies. I've seen the cookies that you can get your logo put on. I've seen lots of different things, but just kind of think of something that you can give to that customer. I've seen someone do popcorn cans. I've seen all kinds of things. Appreciate your help on the hotel parking lot job. 2 4-gallon minutes, we got it done. And we're up. Solid them. Sit fence to help with the dirt problems. Awesome. Silt fence up. I got you. Sold them silt fence. Good. So you upsold them some even more. That's even better. We like upsells, right? Upsells are awesome, but you should be upselling. So what is your goal for this year in 2025? What is your goal to do in Christmas lights? What are you going to do for marketing this year? What are you going to do to grow your business? Are you going to sit there and think about things that you should do and you don't do? Or are you going to take action this year? I've had people come to my class and they've been like, I've been watching your videos for 3 years. And I'm like, why haven't you taken action 3 years ago? You have lost $500,000 in 3 years. Or maybe you've lost $1 million in 3 years. What are you waiting for? Christmas lights are amazing. They're awesome. Day one of my first day training is all about how to do Christmas lights safely. That is the key. We want to be safety. And here's the thing, guys. I've seen a lot of guys fall off roofs and ladders last year. And it will happen again this year if you are not paying attention. And if you're not paying attention and you're not being things safe, that is definitely something that you have to do. All it takes is one slip, one wrong step, and next thing you know, you're falling off of the roof. And it can be deadly. I know people that died last year, that I personally knew them, that died last year. And one of the guys was one that I would have never thought that would have happened to him. But it was kind of a freak accident, and it happened, right? And all it takes is you get in a hurry, you're like, man, it's only 6 inches. And the next thing you know, you are upside down on your head on the ground, and it's not a good thing to do. And so it is important that you do not do stupid stuff. And here's another one. If you do stupid stuff, don't be posting it on Facebook. Don't be posting it in these groups, because there's insurance companies that are in these groups that we may or may not know. I've seen it happen in the past. They are looking at your Google My Business. They are looking at your website. They are looking at your social media. And if you show a picture of you on a roof, they are probably going to either one, jack your insurance up, or two, cancel you. And it's probably going to be that. And that's what happens when you do this. And this is why it's important that we don't show stupid pictures of us up there and getting hurt. Shoot, why won't that stay down there? I know I got a nice haircut, Ron. You've said it like 10 times. I keep pushing it up here. There we go. Nope, that's not it either. I'm going to have to just read it for you. There we go. $500,000. Let's go. Achievable, probably not, but I'm willing to come up at 80% short, right? Right? Jeremy, we give fridge magnets to hold up the kids' and grandkids' artwork, but really to stay in front of the customer every day. I used to do the same thing. They worked great. And I'm in Texas. Would you recommend that I get another number and put on my yard sign, then pay someone to answer and qualify the callers? Do you think that would prevent me from getting fines? I know people that have done it this way. And so even if you do answer the phone, you just make sure that you're answering Christmas lights and you're not actually giving them your business name. And then you're going to have to see if they're trying to hide from you to get a lead to be able to get your information. So it is definitely something that you can do, but it's going to be tricky. I would say for now, I wouldn't be putting them in intersections. I'd be putting them at the schools. I'd be putting them at the grocery stores. I'd be putting them on private property. So then that way, when they come and say, hey, your signs are here, I'm going to be like, no, my signs are on private property. And I would find out what the law is, how far the private property goes. So that way I can be like, I'm on private property. I'm not on public property. I'm not on your property. I'm on private property. And so that's where I would get to know what is the law and what's the loophole in the law, because there's always a loophole somehow or another in every law, or what it may detail into those fines and stuff. And I am surprised by September 10th that if it was such a big ordeal and they were going to take action on it, that we would have already heard someone getting fined for yard signs. Because you can't tell me that these yard signs just automatically pop back up and they got them all up. And so that's kind of where my thought of it is also. But again, I get where you're coming from is you also don't want to find out the hard way about getting fined from a yard sign. I know people that have gotten fined from yard signs. I know a guy that was getting fined quite a bit, but the signs made way more money than his $200 a week or $200 a month fine from the city. So he was willing to do the fine to be able to keep getting business because they did make him a lot of money. So if you need the best Christmas lights with fast shipping, with free shipping, with customer service that is par to none, which is going to be me even more shortly. If you need help with anything, if you need help with an order, or if you need help with whatever you may need help with, you can give me a call. You can text me. I prefer text. Text works better for me, but I know some people love to give me phone calls and talk to me. You can call me at this number here, 855-619-5483. If you want to know when I go live, like every time I go live and I'm talking about Christmas lights, you can text the word light, LITE, to 855-619-5483. And I will text you every time I go live so you can come on and learn and grow a Christmas light business. So if you want either one of those two numbers or that number, that's a way that you can text me is usually better, but some people like to call. And so I may or may not answer the phone depending on if I'm talking to somebody else or not, but I will get back to you and help you in any way that I can to help you. So that is my goal. My goal is to give lots of value. If you're not in my group, I would highly recommend you be in my group. It's at christmaslights.io/group. I am giving lots and lots of value in that group. I'm posting a lot in that group. I'm answering your all's questions in that group. And I am going to do that more and more. And here's the thing, right? My goal is to give so much value that there's no reason that you can't get to 100,000 or you can't get to whatever your goal is. At the end, yes, you have to take action, but my goal is to help you take action and grow your business and make you able to have time freedom so you can take your family on vacations and you can have financial freedom so you can pay off all your debt and take your kids to vacations. And so that is my goal, to help you grow your business, because I know if I help enough people, I know that I am doing what I need to do to help you grow your business. And yes, how do I know how to grow a business? I have not done 200 installs like some of these other people and teaching. I grew my business to 4 crews working and making $500,000 just in Christmas lights, $500,000 in pressure washing. I've taught other people how to get to $1,000,000. I've coached them to $1,000,000. And so I've coached thousands of people to get to $100,000. This is not something I'm doing to do whatever. I've been doing this since I've been in the Christmas light business since 2014, and I've been teaching and training people to go out there and kill it and crush it and grow their businesses, right? Has everyone done that? No, they haven't. I'll tell you, it is hard work. If someone says it is easy, they are flat out lying to you. I promise you, this is not easy. You don't start losing hair like this because it is easy. If it was easy, everybody would be successful. And I promise you, not everyone's going to be successful, as much as I hate to say that. But here's the thing, I give you enough free value that if you take action, there's no reason that you can't grow your business. But if you don't take action and you're not willing to go do hard things, and you're not willing to go knock on doors, and you're not willing to go put out yard signs, and if you're not willing to go meet people and talk to people, then this business at the end is probably not your business to be in. So that's the importance of growing this business, is that you can go take action and change your life. Like, you literally can change your life. And you might say, well, Jason, I'm just a trash guy. Yeah, I've helped a trash guy go from on the trash truck, driving the truck and picking up trash, and he worked there for 16 years, and he did $1,000,000 last year in 5 years. That's what can be possible. He has 4 trucks. Actually, they have 3 trucks. They have all kinds of amazing things that they've been able to do. Jeremy put, you changed my life. 10x, can't wait until I'm in your millionaire club. Keep grinding. And it's awesome, you know. But here's the thing. Jeremy shows up week after week after week and takes action week after week after week. If you're not taking action, it doesn't matter what I tell you. It doesn't matter who tells you what. If you don't take action, you will not grow your business. I promise you, you will not grow a business by hoping to grow. It does not work that way. It does not work that way at all. And here's the thing. I want you to be successful. You know, as I said earlier, the reason why I tell you to charge premium pricing is because I want you successful. I know people that have been in this business for years and they're cheap and they're in Indianapolis and they're broke. And I don't want you to be that person. I don't want you to have a job. It's literally a job at this point because a business is going to run by itself and going to sustain itself and grow, and you can start putting other things into it, and you should be growing year after year. And they've been in business for decades and still struggling and don't get about it, right? And so it's important that you start changing your mindset and you start listening to people so that way you can grow and you can be successful. Ain't nothing Ain't nothing soft about Christmas lights. Get hard or go home. And it is, right? It is. If I told you it was an easy thing, I would be lying to you. It is very stressful. You got 50 things going 50 different ways, and you're trying to juggle 25 balls, and it is one of the hardest things that you will be able to do. But it is the most rewarding thing that you can do. You know, I've got people right now that make over $1 million a year, and all they do is hang Christmas lights. They don't do landscape lighting, they don't do nothing. They only hang Christmas lights. And so that's what you can do if that's what you want to do. And it's pretty freaking awesome that you can have a business that all you do is hang Christmas lights. Is it easy? No. But is it worth it? I think it is. So with that, I hope you all have a great night. If you want to come to the in-person training, christmaslights.io/IPT. And with that, see you all later. Go be great.